What's up guys, King Richard here, bringing you my ESO 1.6 and 1.7 Imperial City Magic and NightBlade build. This build is an Imperial NightBlade, and it's a magic build based on my Sorcerer Stars and Stripes build. So this build is the Dark Stars and Stripes build because it's on a NightBlade. So let's hop right into it. This is an Imperial NightBlade. We're going to put 64 points in a Magicka. This is a Magicka build, of course. And your resources are going to sit at 31, almost 32k max Magicka, 1600, almost 1700 health. That's outside of Cyrodiil. If you're in PvP, you're going to have at least 23k health with this build when you're in PvP. And you're going to sit at 14k stamina. This build is missing some passives that will increase your magic by 2k, your health by 2k, and your stamina by 2k, which is the Undaunted Metal passives, but we haven't unlocked those yet, but they will be. I will update the build when I finally unlock those passives to show you guys my stats. Magic recovery 1600, stamina recovery 642, health doesn't matter because this is a vampire build. You have a nice bit of spell damage, really good spell crit 36%, and your spell resistance and physical resistance is mediocre, but your survivability will come from damage, shields, and stealth. The Mundstone that you want to run is the Atronaut, and this is a magic build, and I highly recommend running Tri-Stat Food on all magic builds. You don't really need to pump that much into the recoveries, just run Tri-Stat Foods on Magicka builds and you'll be perfectly fine. So let's go ahead and hop into the gear sets. Okay, so our gear sets are 4 pieces of the Martial Knowledge set, body, belt, gloves, and legs. Then we're going to run 4 pieces of the Healer set. That's boots, 2 rings, and a necklace. On all of your accessories, you want to enchant that with Magicka cost reduction. You need that Magicka cost reduction. It's going to help you in the long run. And because this is jewelry enchants, there's no diminishing returns on that cost reduction. You just get that 186 per piece. So you want to get that cost reduction on all of your accessories for magic abilities. Then we're going to run 2 pieces of the Engine Guardian set. That's head and shoulders. And this is 5 light, 1 heavy, 1 medium. You want to run this for the Undaunted Metal passes. I didn't unlock those yet, but when you do unlock them, you're going to get about an extra 2k max health, stamina, and Magicka, and it's going to take you really far when you get that. So we're also running 2 dual wield swords of Toruqs Pact, and then your Resto stab, since we can't fill that in with a set piece, you can just make your Resto staff whatever, or run a Master's Resto staff. It's highly recommended to run a Master's Resto staff because that's going to give you the most benefit. So let's go ahead and look at our abilities. Alright, hopping into our bars. We have 2 bars. We have our dual wield melee bar, and then we have our Resto range DPS and survivability bar. So let's go over our dual wield bar. We're running Concealed Weapon as our number 1 ability. This ability is really good for melee DPS, and when you come out of stealth, you can get a 4-second stun, and also while in stealth, you get increased movement speed by 25%. Our number 2 ability, Lotus Fan. They gave this ability a huge buff. What it does now is 4,384 damage up front, and then it adds an AoE dot that does 2,604 magic damage to all enemies nearby. So it's an initial burst hit and a dot, and it also decreases or lowers movement speed by 66% for 6 seconds, which is really good. So you get a snare, you get upfront damage, and you get an AoE dot all in one ability with Lotus Fan. So this ability is really good and a must have for magic builds. Double Take. This ability is going to increase your dodge chance by 20%, and it's also going to increase your movement speed by 40% for 4 seconds. So you really want to have this on your bar, because when you're in stealth, you can pop Double Take, and then you get 25% movement speed from Concealed Weapon. Then you get 40% from Double Take, 65% movement speed while you're in stealth when you have those abilities slotted like this. Sap Essence. This is a AoE DPS ability, and it also increases your spell damage by 20%. This is one of the main reasons you have it on. But it does do really good AoE damage, and it also heals you. So this does a lot of different things, and that's what I like about NightBlade. NightBlade brings a lot to the table, and you can get a lot of different effects with single abilities. Like, to have a spell damage buff, AoE, DPS, and a heal in one ability is just amazing. But it's the same thing with like Lotus Fan, Double Take, and so many other abilities. Dark Cloak. This puts you on stealth, and it removes 4 DOTs, and you can stay in stealth for 2.9 seconds. So this is a really good ability. This is going to help you get out of any sticky situation that you're in. So this is a must slot. Then we have Devouring Swarm as our ultimate. We have Devouring Swarm here, and I'll go over it when I get to my Resto bar, and why I don't have like Soul Harvest here or something melee. We have Devouring Swarm here because this is going to go hand in hand with Sap Essence. You can pop your Devouring Swarm, you can do Sap Essence, and you can do anywhere from 5 to 8k DPS with these two abilities as AoE DPS though. That's AoE DPS, and that's in PvP, not just PvE. So this ability just works really well with Sap Essence, and it also allows you to get the stun with Concealed Weapon whenever you do use Devouring Swarm. So let's go ahead and hop on over to our Resto staff. Okay, onto our Resto bar. Our Resto bar is going to be used for range DPS and survivability. So our number 1 ability is range DPS, and that's Swallow Soul. And what it does is it does 4,555 damage from 28 meters up to 28 meters, which is really far. And it heals you for 25% of the damage. And while slotted, it increases your healing by 8%. This is a really good ability. And it only costs 423 magic. Then our number 2 ability is Impale. This is a ranged execute, which only costs 801 magic, and it does a ton of damage when you get people below 25% health. Then we have Healing Ward. This is our main damage shield. This scales up based on health loss, so when you lose a lot of health, you get a much larger shield. And when a shield expires, whatever is left over, you get healed for. So this is a really amazing ability and a must-have for your survivability. Our number 4 ability, Merciless Resolve. This is going to give you Minor Berserk, which increases your overall damage by 8% whenever you cast this ability. So you're going to have this up all the time. And then it creates a Spectral Bow that does 9,637 damage after you do 4 light attacks or heavy attacks. And they don't have to be consecutive. They can be weaved in with Swallow Soul, and that's what I do. I pop Merciless Resolve. I weave light and heavy attacks in with Swallow Soul, and then when this procs, I shoot that bow and it does a ton of damage. It also reduces enemy movement speed by 40% for 5 seconds, which is amazing. Our number 5 ability, this is Fair. A lot of the times when you're fighting at range, people will gap close on you or get in your face, and instead of being forced to swap bars to get them off of you, you can pop a Fair, you can get a shield on, and then you can swap bars and then go into Cloak and then create the distance again if you want to fight from far or go melee DPS, whatever you choose. That's why I have Fair on this bar. And then our ultimate is Soul Harvest. Whenever you get a kill with this ability, or whenever you get a kill while this ability is slotted, it generates 10 ultimate, which is why we have it on our Resto bar, because most of our kills are going to come from this Resto bar, because this is where our execute is. And this also is a really good single target ultimate, and it only costs 50 ultimate. So when people gap close in on you, you're probably going to have this up 9 times out of 10. You can Fair them, Soul Harvest, maybe execute Swallow Soul, or pop a Spectral Bow if you have that ready. But yeah, that's basically it. And one more thing about our bars is the setup, because you want to set your bars up specifically on a Nightblade because you get different passive bonuses. So the main setup for these bars and why you want to keep them like this is because your siphoning ability, Magic of Flood, increases your max magic by 8%. So you want to keep this on both of your bars because you have to have a siphoning ability slotted. So on our Resto bar, we have Swallow Soul, which is a siphoning ability. And then on our Duel bar, we have Sap Essence, which is a siphoning ability. So you just get, like, this is like the perfect setup for Nightblades. And we're going to go into our champion points. I'm going to show you guys how to set up the champion points. For the champion tree, most magic abilities, you want to lay yourself out pretty much the same. So what I do is go for 8% cost reduction. That is a must. That's going to basically give you the 5-piece set bonus that you would get from Seducer, which gives you 8% cost reduction to all spells. So you want to get that. Then you want to go and get Magic Recovery. Right now, I'm testing with 20% in the Magic Recovery right now. I usually put a little bit in a Mooncalf and a little bit in a Tumbling, but so far I haven't really need to use, or I haven't had the need for Tumbling or Mooncalf so far in the PTS. My resource management has been great, so I'm just trying to increase my overall magic sustain. You want to put 1 into Blessed, 1 into Elemental Expert, and then 1 into Spell Erosion, and then put 27 into Elfborn, because this is going to give you increased spell critical by 12%. So you really want to get that passive, and you need to have 30 points into this overall tree to do so. So I set mine up like that. I have 1 in the Staff Expert, but that's what I'm stacking into next. But you want to start putting at least 20% in a Thaumaturge, because this is going to increase all your abilities by 20%, because all your Nightblade abilities are magic abilities. And then once you do that, you can pump in the Staff Expert to help your light and heavy attack weaving. Then you want to get some points in an Elemental Defender, because you are a vampire. You want to reduce that flame damage. So because I have 10% into it, I'm only taking 15% fire damage from being a vampire, which is negligible right now, and I really don't notice it at all. And then you want to pump 20 points in the Bastion. Once you get 20% in the Bastion, then start stacking into Elemental Expert, because both of these trees are important, both Elemental Expert and Bastion, but Bastion is really key because your main survivability comes from a damage shield. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope this build helps you guys. I will be updating it in the future. Make sure you guys come check me out, twitch.tv/KingRichard15, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you guys in the near future. Peace.